Hello friends, welcome to this YouTube video program. Friends, we are discussing about the recommendations of National Education Policy 2020. We have already discussed in some of our earlier videos. We have discussed about the fundamental principles of establishment of this National Education Policy 2020. Further, we have also discussed about the important recommendations relating to pedagogical and structure of schools. Okay, relating to school education, the 5+3+3+4 pedagogical structure of school education we have discussed, and further we have also discussed the recommendations on the pedagogy teaching learning process, how to design the curriculum at different stages of education, like foundational stage, preparatory stage, middle stage, and secondary stages of education. Further, today we will discuss one of the very important recommendations, that is relating to language. Okay, so that is, you can say, multilingualism and the power of language. This is another important recommendation of National Education Policy 2020. So friends, even if in earlier committees and commissions, in the recommendations of earlier commissions, it may be National Policy on Education 1986, even if in other secondary and other commissions, you will find that definitely certain recommendations, certain important recommendations that have been given on the language policy of the school education, okay, language policy of this country so far in the academic practices. So here, just like the earlier practices, here in NEP 2020, the language aspect, this has been highlighted in a very, you can say, with clarity and in a very proper way, in a very clear way, that how language achievement should be, how better language achievement should be by the students. At the same time, what are the different languages that should be practiced in the school education. So friends, today we'll discuss about the recommendations on this language aspect. And at first, this has been realized by the National Education Policy 2020, that this is also the research base, that so far as the young child is concerned, you will find that knowledge occurs, knowledge happens, and knowledge constructs in one's mother tongue, in one's own language, you can say. Okay, so you see, when we construct our knowledge, when we understand the things that we observe in our environment, it may be in our family, maybe in our immediate environment, in society, in schools, okay, whatever, when we engage ourselves in different activities, in world of work, okay, in world of happenings, in different events, in different situations, you see, the understanding that we develop, the knowledge that we construct within ourselves, that happens in our mother tongue, okay, that never happens in any other languages. So that's why, friend, basing upon the research base, recommendations has been given that at least you can say up to the middle stage of education, okay, the foundational stage, then the preparatory stage, and the middle stage of education. That means you can say from you can say that is from early childhood care education till completion of standard 8th or grade 8th, means completion of the middle stage. The medium of instruction should be in mother tongue, in one's mother tongue, okay. So clearly this has been mentioned that this medium of instruction will not applicable only in the government school. Rather, this has been categorically mentioned that both public school and government school, okay, see, the medium of instruction up to class 8 should be in one's mother tongue. So that's why this is expected that when NCERT will come forward with a detailed curriculum framework for school education, As per this NEP 2020, this is expected that such type of provision will be made that compulsory, you can say up to middle stage of education, the language practices in the school, across the school, it may be government or it may be private, should be in one's mother tongue. Because a child learns better, a child understands better, a child construct his or her own knowledge in mother tongue. So this is easy for the child to understand the things, at the same time to participate in many activities and express oneself freely and express oneself, you can say, with clarity, with certain understanding. So that's why, friend, this is one of the very good recommendation of this committee, or this national education policy. So now we have to wait a few months or few years to get the curriculum framework for school education that will developed by NCERT. Then after this can be practiced, mother tongue can be practiced as the compulsory medium of instruction in the school practices, okay, across the schools. Then further, as I was talking about that, as research clearly shows that children pick up language extremely quickly between the ages of 2 and 8. You see, at the early years of life, the child learns language very quickly. Okay, they develop certain skill to acquire the languages. Okay, the language acquisition skill that is very much active during the early stages of life. So that's why realizing this research evidences, research findings, research result. So here also certain recommendations are given that the multilingualism practices should be practiced in the schools. Okay, means you can say up to the age of middle stage, you will find that more than one languages that will be practiced in the schools. So here, just like the earlier practices, 3 language formula, that also this has been recommended that the 3 language formula will continue. Okay, continue to be implemented. But here the 3 language formula, out of this 3 language formula, at least 2 languages from the Indian languages. Okay, Indian languages means that languages which is included in the 8th schedule of the Constitution of India. Okay, Indian languages, you can say any Indian languages, maybe Hindi, maybe Sanskrit, maybe any regional languages. So the students, they will study 3 languages. So among these 3 languages, at least 2 languages will be the Indian languages. Means here the students will study English as one of the foreign language. So with the language of English, they have to study another 2 languages. Just like a school can implement Hindi with Sanskrit as 2 Indian languages, with English as another foreign languages. So in this way, 3 language formula can be practiced in the school. But here recommendations have been given, just like the 3 language learned by children will be the choices of the states, regions, and of course the students themselves, so long as at least 2 of 3 languages are native of India. Okay, what I was talking earlier. And the choices of these 2 languages will depend upon the states. Means here autonomy has been given to the states, as education is in the concurrent list, as per the language practices of the states, as per the importance of the languages in that state. So state is here free to select their own languages, but among these 3 languages, 2 languages should be the native language. Then further, this has also been recommended that in particular, students who wish to change one or more of the 3 languages they are studying may do so in grade 6 or 7. So they can also change one or more than 2 languages among these 3, that is in the grade of 6 or 7. Okay, so that's why certain conditions have been imposed that is for the benefit of the children, that the children should know the native languages, should train themselves, should groom themselves with the Indian languages. So that's why such type of recommendations has been given, that what should be the national language policy of this country. Then further, this has been recommended that all efforts will be made in preparing high quality bilingual textbooks and teaching learning materials for science and mathematics. So friends, here such recommendations is given, that high quality bilingual textbooks will be developed, will be written. Okay, so here, and that is also specifically focusing upon the science and mathematics. You see, science and mathematics, it deals with the technical knowledge. Okay, technical aspect, or many technical terminologies, technical concepts, scientific concepts, certain complex concepts are there so far as science and mathematics is concerned. So friends, many a time you will find that they develop a type of phobia when they study mathematics, even if when they study science at the higher classes also, okay, in secondary classes. So that's why here recommendation has been given that the high quality bilingual textbook should be developed in both Indian languages as well as in English language or the foreign language, so that the students, they can study with their interest. Okay, if they want to study in Indian languages, then and they should get an opportunity to study. Then further, this has also been recommended that you will find that many developed countries, you can take the example of China, you may take the example of other countries also, you will find that they have given more importance upon their regional languages, their country languages. Okay, so that's why understanding one's own culture, understanding one's one tradition, understanding one's own people, citizen of this country, you will find that mother tongue works wonderful. So that's why here, as a child learns better from his or her mother tongue. So that's why referring the happenings across the world, especially the developing countries, here the recommendation is given that the Indian languages, the native languages should be given priority, and so far as teaching learning material is concerned, okay, especially the textbook, so it should be developed both in Indian languages, mother tongue, okay, regional languages, at the same time the foreign languages like English. Then again, you will find that the other recommendations, important recommendations that has been highlighted here about the Sanskrit, about the you can say the ancient languages. Okay, the modern, just like you can say that the importance, relevance, and beauty of classical languages and literature of India also cannot be overlooked. The classical language, just like Sanskrit is a classical language. So among these three language formula, you will find that Sanskrit as a classical language now also that being practiced in our school system. Still then, this is also one of the recommendations that the modern classical language, that's the Sanskrit language, which is a part of the 8th schedule of our constitution. The young children, those that are studying in the school, they should understand, they should study Sanskrit language, so that they can understand many traditional things, they can understand many ancient happenings, our rich culture, our rich traditions, okay, that can also be practiced in the school system. Then further, this has also been realized that so far as the philosophy of this country is concerned, and the other aspect, just like the grammar, music, politics, medicine, architecture, you can say the drama, poetry, storytelling, and many such other concepts, you can find that can also be possible to teach in Sanskrit languages, using the Sanskrit languages, or without knowledge of Sanskrit, then you can't say that such things you can develop. So that's why, friend, this has been recommended in NEP 2020, that how to promote Sanskrit language, how to use Sanskrit language in the teaching learning process in our school system. Then further, with Sanskrit language, the other aspects that has been emphasized, just like in section 4.18, this has been mentioned that India also has an extremely rich literature in other classical languages, including classical Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Odia, okay, and other languages also. So here, in addition to these classical languages, Pali, Persian, and you can say Prakriti, and their words of literature to must be preserved for their richness and for the pleasure and enrichment of the posterity. So that's why, friends, here also not only Sanskrit, the other classical forms of language, just like the Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Odia, is also given equal importance, that it should be practiced in the school system, for spreading, or for you can say transmitting our cultural diversities, our cultural unity among the diversities, our rich cultural practices. So for understanding the rich cultural practices, the role of these classical language, you will find that this is very important. One should know, especially at the school stage. So that's why this has been given proper importance. Further, in addition to high quality offering in Indian languages and English, foreign languages such as Korean, Japanese, Thai, French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, and Russian will also be offered at the secondary level. So here provision has been recommended that if a child or if a student, especially at the secondary stage, if he or she wants to study Korean, Japanese, Thai, French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, and Russian, so they are welcome to study, but not at the middle stage, rather you can say at the secondary stage. It means at class 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And further, the other important aspects that has been mentioned in the recommendations relating to language, just like the teaching of all languages will be enhanced through innovative and experimental methods. So here also certain pedagogical aspect is also being discussed about how to deal, how to transact the language course, different languages. So here the innovative and experimental methods should be used. Okay, so just like including through gamification and apps, by weaving in the cultural aspect of the language, such as films, theater, storytelling, poetry, and music. So this is not only, language should not be taught only in a lecture form, rather in a storytelling, in a poetry, in theater, in film, drama, music. So such type of interesting and live techniques should be used, meaningful techniques should be used, meaningful methods should be used for teaching languages. So these are certain you can say language pedagogy aspect is also recommended in NEP 2020. Further, another important recommendation relating to language that has been highlighted, that is Indian Sign Language, ISL, Indian Sign Language. So Indian Sign Language will be standardized across the country, and national and state curriculum materials developed for the use by students which hearing impairment. Local sign language will be repeated and will be respected and taught as well where possible and relevant. So friends, here sign language is also discussed, is also recommended to be practiced in the school system. So friends, sum total, you can say a comprehensive recommendation is given about the practice of language by this NEP 2020, 3 language formula at the school stage. So among these 3 language formula, at least 2 language should be the native language of India, maybe Hindi, maybe other regional language, maybe the mother tongue, then up to the middle stage, up to the standard 8th, you can say. Okay, up to the completion of middle stage, the medium of instruction, it may be public school or it may be a government school. You will find that the medium of instruction should be in one's mother tongue, as knowledge construct, as knowledge, as child better understand in one's mother tongue. So that's why these are the certain important aspects that has been dealt in this national education policy 2020, national education policy 2020. Then further, I have already mentioned that this has been mentioned that the NCERT will come forward with a curriculum framework, a national curriculum framework for school education, for implementation of this national education policy in different aspects, in curriculum, in pedagogy, in language, and other aspects. So NCERT will come forward with the national curriculum framework, and this is expected that all such things that is the part of the NEP 2020 will be properly represented and properly addressed in the national curriculum framework for school education by NCERT, so that further that can be better implemented in the school system across the country. So friends, today we discussed about the recommendations relating to multilingualism and language policy in the school, and further in our next program we will discuss the other important recommendations that has been included in national education policy 2020. Thank you.